opening words are from Robert Weston, Out of the Stars. Out of the stars in their flight, out of the dust of eternity, here have we come, stardust and sunlight mingling through time and through space. Out of the stars have we come, up from time, out of the stars have we come. Time out of time before time, in the vastness of space, Earth spun to orbit the sun. Earth with the thunder of mountains newborn, the boiling of seas. Earth warmed by sun, lit by sunlight, this is our home. Out of the stars have we come. Mystery hidden in mystery, back through all time. Mystery rising from rocks, in the storm and the sea. Out of the stars, rising from rocks and the sea, kindled by sunlight on earth, arose life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Life up from sea, eyes to behold, throats to sing, mates to love. Life from the sea, warmed by the sun, washed by rain, life from within, giving birth, rose to love. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Lift upon earth, rose to love. Life upon earth, rose to love. This is the marvel of life, rising to see and to know. Out of your heart, cry wonder, sing that we live. And now we'll light our chalice as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith.
I'm the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at UCR, and I'd like to invite up all folks who are young at heart, anyone who wants to read a story with me. First, I want to check in a little bit. How's your week been? I see some nods. Did anybody make a mess this week? Oh, I see some hands out there. I bet you they can make bigger messes than we ever could. Anybody get mad this week? I hear some oh yes. You can nod if it's true. I got mad this week. Anybody get jealous this week? I didn't, but I did have some things that I really wish that I was at. There's a lot of things that go into life, aren't there? Who was happy this week? Yeah. I was talking about all those negative things. Who laughed so hard they almost threw up this week? Yeah, I definitely did. I laughed so hard, I had to put my phone down. I was on the phone with my sister. I had to put my phone down and walk away because it was so funny. I was probably going to wet my pants or something. My sister's pretty good for making me laugh. I have a book today called You're Lovable to Me. It's by Kat Ye, and it's illustrated by Sue Anderson. And since it's Easter, it features some of my favorite little Sue Anderson bunnies. It had been a big day. It had been a hard night. And for those of you that can't see, there's a huge mess on the dining room table. Bath time is going terribly, and everybody's got on everybody else's pajamas. We're sorry, sniffed the bunnies as Mama turned down the light. Mama smiled softly, and she drew them to her knee. Bunnies, let me tell you something someone used to say to me. When a mama loves a bunny, she will love him when he's sad, or they're frightened, or she's lonely, or he's worried. He's worried because he cracked a baseball through someone's window, or she's mad, or when he's plain exhausted, or embarrassed, or just shy, or when they have the giggles and can't stop to tell you why. No matter what your feelings are, whatever they may be, I'm your mama, you're my bunnies, and you are lovable to me. It had been a big day. It had been a hard night. And in these pictures, for those of you who can't see, Mama Bunny is washing all those dishes and cleaning the house, and she's about to sit down. When Grandpa came for evening tea, he found a sleepy sight. Mama fell asleep on the couch. He smiled and got a blanket and kissed Mama on the head. He looked at her a long, long time, and this is what he said. When a papa loves a bunny, he still loves her when she's grown. With a home that's filled with love and hope and bunnies of her own. When a papa loves a bunny, that's the way it will always be. I'm your papa, you're still my bunny, and you are lovable to me. And I want you guys to know that even when it's a hard week, a hard month, a hard year, everybody out there recognizes the hard year, you are lovable to us here at UUCR. Today we're going to stay in the sanctuary and listen to stories of life and love. But if you need something to do with your hands, we can take a quick trip to the rainbow table and then come back in, okay? Let's do it. Anybody need something from the rainbow table?
I have a reading for you today. It's a poem in recognition of the Transgender Day of Visibility. I guess a lot of people are calling this Resurrection Sunday, and I'd like to add that it's also Rebirth Sunday. It's called Live Your Dream. Keep your eyes on the prize, a worthy phrase to say. It's all within your grasp. Don't wait another day. It's itching to get out of you, waiting for release. Let the floodgates open, feel your power increase. Shake off inhibitions, make your awesome self known. Show the world outside just how much you've grown. Don't let those nagging voices rent space inside your head. Kick those devils out and take a stand instead. Stand up for your right to speak your mind in peace, to dress the way you want, create your masterpiece. Ignore the narrow minds and all of their attack. Whatever they come up with, girl, we got your back. Too much this, too much that, too much in their face. Don't let them call the shots. It's all to their disgrace. That closet is your prison, as safe as it might seem. Don't let it be your coffin. Come on out and live your dream.
Feeling unloved. So many live their lives feeling unloved, unseen, unrecognized, unappreciated. So very many. You may not know who they are because we were all conditioned to hide our truth below a bushel of shame, but they are everywhere. When you make an effort to share your love, you don't always know where it will land, but be sure that it does. Sometimes it lights a torch for others to follow. Sometimes it gives them reason to believe that there is a better life waiting for them after a lifetime of disappointment. Sometimes it builds spirits, and sometimes it actually saves lives. We just have to keep giving the love wherever and whenever we can. You never know how far it will travel. From Love It Forward by Jeff Brown.
Good morning, everyone. Let's just take a moment, and if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, to do so. And to just take 3 steady, deep breaths. Just a couple additional short readings. This one came from the Roanoke Times on March 26 from Dr. Barton Goldsmith, who writes a column that's occasionally in the Roanoke Times. This time of year, when you can make things happen both internally and externally, if you want to grow as a human being, the opportunities are endless. All you have to do is take the first step of bringing something new into your life. And then a nod to the real ministry of Jesus from Matthew 25:40. Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. And then finally, our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. As a Unitarian Universalist minister, I have always found Easter a problematic time to preach. Why? Well, for me, it's the mishmash of images, of religious claims, of contorting words to make Easter relevant to our lives. Like many of you, I grew up with Easter being this image of the crucified Christ and claims of him being the risen Lord, thus washing away our sins, while concurrently we are looking for colored eggs, eating chocolate bunnies and Peeps, and there's that mystique of the Easter bunny. This past week I saw a humorous graphic of an icon painting of Christ using his hand to create a shadow image of a bunny, thereby explaining the connection between Christ and the Easter bunny. For me, it really summed up the absurd melding of what we know as Easter. Easter, of course, does have its roots in pagan beliefs that date back thousands of years, although exactly which pagan festival it emerged from is somewhat debated. Its association with the arrival of spring and fertility is generally accepted. And of course, rabbits are notorious for their breeding. One of the central themes of Easter is rebirth and renewal, which is closely tied to the arrival of spring, marking the end of winter and the beginning of a new season. It is this understanding of Easter that most Unitarian Universalists tend to embrace as we gather at Easter time. The idea of rebirth and renewal as it applies to the unfolding of spring, and as we apply it to looking at our individual lives, an opportunity to reestablish our commitment to being good people. But for me, all of this window dressing distracting us from what we are seeing as we look outside the window and see what is really going on outside. Whether we do actually believe in the resurrection of Christ and the forgiveness of our sins, or we are just happy to celebrate the beauty of the so-called miracle of life as represented by spring, I think we are avoiding seeing the big picture, that which lies outside our window on the world. The resurrection of Christ is an obsession of life after death. And if you believe Christ, not Jesus, Christ died for your sins and was resurrected, and your belief in that will assure you your place in heaven after you die, I personally see that as living in serious denial. And the simplified embrace of spring as a feel-good celebration of the renewal of life glosses over and obscures the reality of the current threat to which all life is being currently subjected. Although I do concur with the idea of Dr. Goldsmith in his reading that psychologically speaking, spring is an opportunity to make things happen for us to grow as human beings, to not simply seek comfort in the status quo of the dominant culture, but to be challenged and to foster self-efficacy, the power to focus one's beliefs to affect situations, the power each of us has to face challenges competently. To me, the obsession with life after death simply relinquishes responsibility and accountability for how we live our lives here and now. And the celebration of the miracle of life certainly underscores how amazing it is that we are in this condition that we call life. But it is no more a miracle than the Big Bang and whatever might have preceded it. To me, a miracle presumes that something happens that shouldn't be happening. If anything is happening, it is because it is happening, like anything else that we witness in this mysterious universe. The universe is everything. Out of the stars we have come, all of it. So life is what is happening. But because life is happening doesn't mean life will always be happening, especially if we humans are living in ways that threaten the existence of life. And the only possibility of life surviving our human presence is for us to exercise love. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Life upon earth rose to love. Only love will sustain life as we know it. And what does that mean? Only life will sustain life as we know it. Well, life needs nourishment, and it needs an environment that fosters life to flourish, to participate in this grand scheme of evolution to which life finds itself beholden. Because of our human capacity to be self-aware and manipulative in powerful ways, we humans are significant influencers in determining the ongoing evolution of life. So, are we humans fostering nourishment and a sustainable environment for life to flourish and to continue to evolve? Or are we steadily starving and poisoning life while consistently degrading a sustainable environment in which life can flourish? Loving life means to nourish life. Loving life means to foster ecosystems for the sustainability of life. When we look out our window framed by the Easter dressings of the Christian promise of eternal life or the wonders and promises of spring and rebirth, are we seeing nourishment and sustainability, or are we seeing life in crisis? Because love is in crisis. I'd say life and love are in crisis. As Erica mentioned, today happens to be the annual International Transgender Visibility Day. It is a day founded by Rachel Crandall Crocker. There had already been a day set aside in November, Transgender Day of Remembrance, spurred by the 1998 brutal murder of Rita Hester, a transgender woman in Boston. And just for your information, in 2023, 320 trans and gender diverse people were murdered. Ms. Crandall Crocker said, "I wanted a day that we can celebrate the living, and I wanted a day that all over the world we could all be together," she said. So Crandall Crocker, who had lost a marriage when she came out and lost a job as a psychotherapist when she transitioned, decided to create the day herself for celebrating her transition of identity and those of millions of others like her. Thus, March 31st became International Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, many people, particularly we of an older generation, did not grow up with trying to understand the gender issues of identity that are common today. But that doesn't mean that there weren't people who privately, quietly, and with great emotional and social pain did not exist. Many have since come out to live their dreams, to be true to themselves, and to seek to be more fully human despite the hostile, ignorant, confused, and even violent environment in which they found themselves. Many of us here this morning probably still struggle to make sense of what gender identity challenges are all about. Yet whatever your struggle is to accept and to affirm transgender folks and all others who seek to fulfill their sexual and gender identities might be, these people are to be honored. They are to be honored by all of us for their courage, and as teachers to all of us of what affirming human life through love is all about. This is what lies outside our window, beyond the window dressing of a false heavenly life beyond this life, beyond the window dressing of the false hope of spring and rebirth, without the commitment of love to embrace and to thereby nourish and sustain the diversity of humanity. Once again, I am reminded of James Baldwin's understanding of love as a state of being in the tough and caring universal sense of quest and daring and growth. Loving life to nourish and sustain life, whether it is the life in the biological sense or life in the understanding of what it means to be human in all its manifestations. Such love is not a passive practice. To truly love, we have to be actively challenged to seek out and understand what is needed to nourish and sustain the biosphere, and to be challenged to cultivate what is needed to genuinely embrace the diversity of our humanity, no matter how uncomfortable it might be to our established comfort zones. Truly, I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. We all have our hierarchies of prejudices. The least of these might be those of different sexual and gender identities. It might be racial, it might be religious, it might be socioeconomic, it might be nationality, it might be educational, it might be the homeless, it might be political affiliation, it might be the disabled, it might be the physically, mentally, and emotionally ill, it might be the addicted. It also might be whether something is non-human, other life forms such as other animals, bugs, microbes, and plants. It might also be the ecological factors of food, water, and air. Which of these, human and otherwise, do we consider to be the least important in our lives? Which do we consider unworthy of our love? Our individual hierarchy of exclusions is important for each of us to know. It is what dictates how each of us relates to the larger human community and to the larger biosphere, the regions of the surface, atmosphere, and hydrosphere of the earth, occupied by living organisms, the totality of life, and that which sustains it. If we take to heart what was actually meant by the real words of the person Jesus, not Christ, but of Jesus, how we are treating the least of these in our hierarchy of prejudices is how we are treating ourselves. That's a 180-degree turn from how most of us live our lives and how our culture encourages us to serve the comfort and security only of ourselves, minimizing our concern for the least of these as we go down our hierarchical scale of worthiness. And as Jeff Brown said in that reading shared by Kate, yet so many live their lives feeling unloved, unseen, unrecognized. You may not know who they are, but they are everywhere. It is our responsibility as Unitarian Universalists to investigate our hierarchy of prejudices, to identify those people in other life forms and the life-supporting environments that we ignore by withholding our love. As the reading continues, when you make an effort to share your love, you don't always know where it will land, but be sure that it does. Sometimes it lights a torch for others to follow. Sometimes it gives them reason to believe that there is a better life waiting for them after a lifetime of disappointment. Sometimes it builds spirits, and sometimes it actually saves lives. We just have to keep giving the love wherever and whenever we can. You never know how far it will travel. So let us be honest with ourselves. How are each of us exercising love to foster love? How are each of us helping to open the imprisoning closet doors of others who are forced to live in fear because of their identity? How many of us truly are affirming the inherent worth and dignity of every person? How are each of us confronting the threats to the biosphere that threaten the quality and sustainability of life? Let this time that we call Easter and the celebration of spring always be a reminder that it's all about life and love. That's all there is. So help open some closet doors. Thank you.
Bring
Teresa.
As you can see, I am not Jane Harrison. Jane has, in fact, in Lifelines today, we've got to provide support to the members of the Caring Committee. Jane had some back issues this week, quite severe. It's getting better, but she didn't feel like she could do, she was, true to Jane's form, she was going to be an usher today as well as doing Lifelines. So she told me yesterday, she said, I could just do both. And I'm not even a member of the Caring Committee and have never done the ushering, but when we got here this morning, Kate Jones had volunteered. We kind of split the duties. She'd volunteered to be an usher, but our wonderful usher committee had everything taken care of. So today, for Jane, of course, is to, and I don't know, I hope it doesn't go to her head that we had 3 people lined up to do what she usually does. Yeah. But she is getting better, and for Jane, just send her good healing thoughts, both for herself and for Spike. He is receiving excellent care at the Virginia Veterans Care Center, and I know that's not the correct name at this point because it's been 2 veterans have been honored and the name has been changed. But they're providing excellent care, and considering that Jane is a retired nurse, that's a big compliment. Linda Wood, also a member of the Caring Committee, her husband Tom had a heart attack last week just before she was getting ready to leave for church. He was in the hospital, got out of the intensive care unit on Tuesday. Their daughter came to help both of them out, so he is coming along. And Sally Garber, who's the head of the caring committee, her brother died last week. He had had several years of declining health and was really at the point that there was not a good quality of life. So although she will miss him, she is comforted knowing that he is now at peace. And she and her sister will be going to the memorial service in May in Cleveland, which I get is kind of their hometown. And it's hard to lose your siblings. That's really part of your own history as we lose them. Gary Mason is also challenged with multiple health issues at this point. He would greatly appreciate cards, but would prefer if people didn't call at this point or send emails. And my hat is off to Gary. In the midst of all that, when I had my recent medical procedure, he called and reached out to give me support. And he also called last week to offer support for the Roanoke reparations group and wants to join that effort at some point. So we have some people that need our good thoughts and support. And I didn't mention it when I was talking about Spike Harrison, but our Rev Kirk visits him quite frequently. He's doing a wonderful job of supporting our members with pastoral care. And speaking of that, he's going to give us an update on Tim Andriano.
Thanks, Teresa. A lot of you know Tim Andriano, but you probably also know that back, I think it was in February, when he's in his 70s, and he was pushing back from his computer on his computer chair, and the chair went that way and he went the other way and then landed on his leg, and he broke his ankle and part of his femur, I believe. But he has since been in a long-term care and rehab. He had initial surgery that's tried to stabilize the bone, but then he was transferred to Carilion Hospital. Then he had a gallbladder operation, and he felt better after that, though. But he's been at Brandon Oaks Rehab for several weeks now, and he had the second and the major surgery this past Thursday. And they had originally planned to put a rod up into his femur from his ankle, but they just chose not to do that. But they went in and everything went well. They had to replace a piece of bone that had been crushed. So he's got quite a contraption on his leg now, but he's back at Brandon Oaks Rehab. He's in good spirits, but he's got a long haul. And he was talking about August as the hopeful date to go home. So that's presuming that all the subsequent stages follow their course. But he certainly welcomes cards and whatever. And he's at Brandon Oaks Rehab Center, which is across from the main building of Brandon Oaks. So thanks.
If you have this is new to me too, if you have a concern or joy on your heart that you'd like to light a candle for, you can come up and do that now. Use both sides.
Gather with the saints
Let's just take a moment again to just sit quietly. If it's comfortable for you, let your eyes fall closed and just be acutely aware of the dynamic of life and love that resides within all of us. It's the incredible, powerful relationship we have. So let's just sit for a moment in quiet reflection and be aware of our connection with the life of others and this world in which we live. Be ye lamps unto yourselves, be your own confidence. Hold to the truth within yourselves, as to the only Lamb. Thank you.
This just in, today is Bill Bestpitch's birthday. Birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to And now for some announcements. The Easter hunt to help the Pack-a-Snack program begins in the Memorial Garden immediately following today's service. There is also a generosity campaign information session following the service today and the Easter egg hunt. And if you're interested in that, find Matt Livingston. There he is. We will be hosting a blood drive on April 13th in the Fellowship Hall, so make plans to come to that. Anyone who's interested in seeing some pictures of the boiler, there are some photos in the Fellowship Hall, and it's a miracle that it was working as long as it did. A planning group is being formed to follow up on what was learned at the Defending Democracy event at the Blacksburg UU Church last week. If you would like to join this group, or if you'd like more information, please see Bill Hackworth. And there's a great deal of additional information in the April newsletter that was sent out on Friday, so please read it carefully. And if you are not receiving the newsletter and would like to, please contact admin@uuroanoke.org. That's all.
Our closing, nope, not that one. Nope, not that. Well, I'll talk, there it is. Our closing hymn is Come Thou Fount, and you don't have the hymnals, but the words will be on the screen momentarily. So let's all stand and sing. There they are.
Praise
start by thanking our musicians and choir this morning because such a gift. Thank you. The closing words today are entitled that they're here somewhere. I just had them. I'm still adjusting, I guess. Here we go. You didn't by chance pick them up, did you, Nate? Yep. That's what he's here for. Takes a village, right? Yes, it does. All right. This is from the author is the same title, Thoughts from a Gentle Atheist. Let us be true to the world and to one another, for truth inspires courage and trust. Let us be strong because the future we face will not be easy, particularly for the truthful. Let us remember those who suffered because in an uncertain world, we never know when that number might grow to include ourselves. Finally, let us be loving, but not the kind of love that prides itself on flowers and flowered phrases. Let ours be the kind of love which rises up in the face of oppression, feeds the hungry, offers rest to the weary, and beckons in the world we say we want. Thank you, everyone.